James Franklin and Ryan Day, what do they have in common this year with their teams? Their two quarterbacks, Kyle McCord, Drew Aller, they can't throw a 15-yard pass to save their life. They know going up against a returning J.J. McCarthy, they're looking at another loss. This was their only thing they could use.
Stephen A. Smith just came out today, and he said, I quote, Michigan Wolverines should be banned from college football playoffs. And I was pissed off when I seen it. It's a terrible narrative. I'm like, look, let me hit up Ray, because we want to talk about this, and we're going to break this video down in different parts. But first, Ray, I want you to talk about when Jim Harbaugh first got suspended earlier this year. The average fan like me, I'm like, everybody was making a joke like, man, he got suspended for buying a kid a hamburger. And it wasn't necessarily that. So why did Jim Harbaugh get suspended earlier this season?
So during the COVID period, in Big Ten, all conferences, they had these specific rules. So when it comes to recruiting, you can't visit recruits. It was certain rules they had to abide by. You cannot sit up here and hold workouts via Zoom and all that other stuff. The rules became so frosty to where Jim Harbaugh felt, hey, listen, I understand we got rules during COVID, but at the same time, nothing is really straightforward. Nothing is very clear. So he would get out there and he would host recruits like J.J. McCarthy and other recruits. And it wasn't nothing in person, but they realized that he was doing something virtually with these recruits, and he would meet up, and that hamburger thing came about because he'd meet up and buy him a hamburger and stuff like that.
Go to McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. So the rules were not clear. So he was trying to do his best to recruit by abiding by the rules, but they were so not clear, just like the regular rules with COVID. Remember how everybody was confused on when do I wear a mask? Where do I wear a mask? When can I leave the house? Should I leave the house? This, that, and the other, where it comes to the vaccines and other people. We hear people saying you should do this, you should do that, but they were too busy using the word should and not giving us confirmation, so nobody knew clear. It's the same thing with the NCAA, with the Big Ten, and all other conferences. They're mainly the Big Ten, because in the SEC, they didn't give a damn. You know what I mean? You're talking about Southern states. They really, around that time, they didn't give a damn. They was against all of that. So now you got the Big Ten that's in a bind. It's like, well, wait a minute. We know that we can still recruit, but I need to be able to do this. I need to be able to do that. I need to see a kid workouts. I need to be able to talk to this person. How can I talk to him?
So I sent him and sent Ray this video where Stephen A. Smith is talking about Michigan on First Take. Listen to this.
Here's my deal, y'all. I spoke at Michigan last week, the Michigan Sports Business Conference. I was a guest speaker there last week. I said it while I was on campus, right down the block from the big house. I said it with everybody in attendance, and I'll be damned if I'm not going to say it now. The Michigan Wolverines should be banned from the college football playoffs until the investigation is complete. You do not get to go to the college football playoff and rob potentially another institution from getting one of those Final Four spots. If it is open, the possibility is open that you may have cheated to get your way there. The fact that the investigation is still open is nonsensical to me. It makes no sense. Expedite the process, reach a conclusion. Tell me they didn't do it. I'm fine with it. Tell me there's not enough evidence to validate they did it. I'm fine. But as long as the investigation is open, Shannon, there is no way on earth that you could have the Michigan Wolverines going to the college football playoff when it is possible that they may have had somebody working for them, traveling around to other schools, stealing signs, giving them an unfair advantage. Ever since this alleged scandal began, Michigan has been winning games over the last 2 years, and they've been in the college football playoffs each time. Sorry, you can't let them go to the playoffs.
Oh boy, oh boy. What is your first initial thoughts? Because I give you mine next. When I sent you that and you heard Stephen A paint that false narrative of what's going on, what you got?
So my first initial thought was, here is the lack of money talking, because ESPN no longer, it's the same with Stephen A. Smith, Paul Feinbaum, Pete Thamel. ESPN no longer has rights to the Big Ten games, the Big Ten teams and the Big Ten games. That has now been switched over to Fox and NBC. Well, Fox always had it, but now NBC has those rights. So now it benefits ESPN to consistently dog Michigan when news come out. It benefits them, because if the Big Ten does come out, or if the CFP does come out and ban Michigan, it takes money out of Fox pockets. It takes money out of NBC pockets. What is the most watched game on Fox? Michigan, Ohio State. That is the biggest game of the year, no matter the sport. No matter the sport. So it is in ESPN's interest to get on here and talk about how Big Ten and CFP need to ban Michigan. It's a competition. It's politics, man. And it's amazing to me. And it really makes me mad listening to stuff like that, because they know better. Stephen A. Smith been around for years. He knows better. Paul Feinbaum knows better, even though he's always hated Jim Harbaugh. So I give him that credit.
Always been on it. And to cut you off real quick, is because most people, the average watcher, they don't realize 80% of their debates is already pre-made from people that we don't see. Stephen A. probably give an opinion the night before, okay, we could talk about this. But though the big media is like, okay, we're going to talk about Michigan. And when you on a platform that's getting 500,000 viewers up to 700,000 viewers every single day, and you keep on painting this narrative, somebody that don't even know what's going on is going, you ask them about Michigan, they're just cheating and stealing signs. And it's hold on. And then you see he said Michigan should be banned until the investigation is over. So now, just if you get a speculation of something, now we have to ban teams from the playoffs until it's over with?
It's crazy to me, because if they actually sat back and thought about it, because first of all, ESPN got the perfect pot of people on that show, because Stephen A. Smith don't care about college sports like that. I mean, he walking around yelling "Roll Tide," and I'm like, all right, what ties do you have to Alabama? Paul Feinbaum is SEC. He loves Saban and SEC. He loves everything about it. And then you got Shannon Sharp. Come on, man. What ties do he have to college football and the Big Ten? And it's just like they're just going to keep sharing the same opinions. And all they hear and see is, oh, Michigan is cheating, the allegations. And the biggest problem is, so many reports has come out the past couple of days, and they have not reported it at all. I'm still looking for Pete Thamel to retweet the most recent anonymous staffer to come out and talk about how people were colluding in the Big Ten, colluding against Michigan with the signs.
Since people not talking about it, let's talk about it ourselves. So here go one of the tweets that you sent me earlier. This is by Richard Johnson. His Twitter feed is right there. It say updated story. CNOW is able to publish partially redacted documents showing how Michigan opponents decoded Wolverine's signals and matched them up with run pass concepts. So they got text messages, they got everything showing Michigan signs. You see tempo, boards, Nike swoosh, runs on second down, runs on this. So it's like, hold on. So now you guys have signs and you have proof of other teams saying stuff. Okay, so let's go to this tweet. It say, according to friends/contacts in Ann Arbor, U of M Michigan leaders have given Big Ten extensive evidence of other Big Ten football programs engaging in cheating, violating rules, and colluding against University of Michigan football. So before I get your thoughts on that, Ray, back when I played football in high school, the way our coach did it is like, all right, we about to play Canton or we about to play whatever team. They'd give us a big old sheet and they'd be like, all right, it'd say, all right, Ray Parker, he is 6'2", 220 pounds. This when that on third down it's a 60% chance they're gonna do this play. If they lined up, like, literally, it wasn't called sign stealing. Every single team I know of, even to right now, literally view tape on other teams. You look at teams' tendencies and what they do. So now we're taking what every team in the world do, and now we're just gonna point at Michigan and say, Michigan, you guys are sign stealing. That's why you so good. And the last thing I would say, even if you knew every single play, Alabama, Michigan, whatever it is, if we got Calvin Johnson, if you know I'm about to pass it to Calvin Johnson every single play, you gotta stop it. It don't help you.
It's funny because I like when Prime said that. He said it don't matter, none of this matter. You still got to stop it. But it's crazy because when them reports came out about them colluding, see, people don't understand that. And in the end, Michigan may get hit with some type of punishment because they violated that rule as well. Because in the end, Connor Stallions, I don't want people to think that I'm, just so Michigan biased. Connor Stallions still had to block him on while he was on the sidelines and he was out here going rogue and doing what he was doing. So that's why Michigan in the end may end up getting some type of suspension, maybe two game suspension for Jim Harbaugh. But anyway, when them reports came out, people got to realize that there is a sportsmanship policy with the NCAA. So it's okay to get a hold of signs, try to decode people's signs, other teams' signs, but you cannot collude with other teams. Rutgers cannot call Ohio State and say, all right, I got a hold of this spreadsheet for Michigan. So I know y'all got a game next week. So yeah, let's exchange notes from what we got, and we got somebody that was over there that was sneaking on their practice field film. You can't do it. So now it's a bigger issue. Now you're doing the same. You're throwing stones in the glass house. All the Big Ten teams that were crying about the steal. They were out here doing this and it's video, it is a video of that. Y'all do the same thing. Now, the biggest thing is people don't realize Big Ten teams like Ohio State, they said when all this came down, they said, we've known about Michigan doing this for years. Okay, if you knew that Michigan somehow had this elaborate scheme, then why didn't you go to the Big Ten? Why didn't you go to the NCAA? And another thing, how did you not beat Michigan if you had this?
So every play they about to run.
Yeah.
And y'all still getting whooped on.
You still getting whooped on.
Now,
but at the same time, hold on for a second. So when they said that Michigan had their signs, that means them couple years ago that you're trying to put an asterisk on after 2020, the last two Big Ten title runs, you're trying to put an asterisk on. That means you knew you had to change your signs, which means you knew you had to change your language. So what are we complaining about? That's why I say it gets deeper. Because now Ryan Day, when they had that meeting with Tim Patetti, with the Big Ten commissioner, when they had that meeting, I know it had to be Jim Franklin, Ryan Day, and probably Harlan Barnett that was crying the loudest.
We already know. We already knew who it had to be.
James Franklin, and Ryan Day. What do they have in common this year with their teams? Their two quarterbacks, Kyle McCord, Drew Aller, They can't throw a 15-yard pass to save their life. They know going up against a returning J.J. McCarthy, they're looking at another loss. This was their only thing they could use to try to take Michigan down. We have their signs. We did the same thing to them, and we still can't beat them. They supposedly had our signs, but even when we changed our language, changed our signs, just because we thought they had it, they still beat us. This is why they're throwing stones in the glass house, because they know what's coming.
Man, now with Colin Cowherd, he's usually a Michigan hater. He's a Jim Harbaugh hater. But Hugh sent this earlier, and he was speaking a
the Big Ten informed Michigan it might face disciplinary action. All the coaches, Zoom call, athletic directors, very mad at naughty Michigan. Ooh, what do we have here? A new story has surfaced. A former employee, according to the Associated Press, at a Big Ten football program said yesterday it was his job to steal signs, and he was given details from multiple conference schools before his team played Michigan to compile a spreadsheet of play calling signals used by the Wolverines last year as they crushed the conference. This person also passed along screenshots of text message exchanges with staffers from a handful of Big Ten football programs with Michigan, giving the program proof that other conference teams were colluding to steal signs from the Wolverines. This is another reason why I'm on the right side and why I'm giving Michigan and Harbaugh a break. Sign stealing is absolutely part of the sport, like baseball. It is rampant. Did Michigan get more aggressive? Yes, we're all speeding on the freeway. Maybe they're going 88. The rest of us go 71. Now, I have no problem slapping Michigan on the wrist for the SeatGeek iPhone escapade, but this is not a 5-alarm fire. You did not know the rule existed, and now we've got more information.
That's basically what you said. When you got Colin Cowherd, everything he said, made sense. This is something that everybody do. Yeah, Michigan probably was driving a little bit, going over the speed limit a little bit faster than everybody else.
Dude, people now see the difference between ESPN and Fox. Fox has rights to Michigan. ESPN don't. Now, Colin Cowherd, I always mess with him because he's straightforward. Even though if he has a problem with Jim Harbaugh, he'll say it. If he has a problem with Michigan, he'll say it. But you got to understand now, Fox has the rights to Big Ten games. So Michigan is, if not their biggest draw, other than Ohio State. So now you got ESPN, they're talking about banishment from the college football playoffs. And then
Fox?
you got people on Fox like Joe Klatt, you got Colin Cowherd. That's like, well, wait a minute. When are you going to allow Michigan to get their due process? Because, yeah, we see that they hired Connor Stallion and he was doing this and that, but at the same time, check out these new facts that has come out. It lets you know everybody is doing the same thing. They're throwing rocks in the glass house. So why don't we just chill a little bit? You know, we understand Michigan may have been, and then you got to acknowledge Colin Cowherd is not sitting there saying Michigan is free of everything. He's telling you what
said
I've been
that.
saying.
I'm saying that.
Yeah,
we understand that.
They're going to get a slap on the wrist. It's deserved because they may have been doing something a little more far-fetched with this guy that went rogue, and he had to block him on his chest. We completely understand that, and he's saying that. But at the same time, he is truly acknowledging all the new reports that's out there, and he's showing you why people need to pump the brakes, because you got this coming out about this ex-staffer, Mel Tucker, about this ex-staffer coming out. That's just who I believe. I'm not saying that's a fact. That's who I believe it is. That's how you get your leg back for real.
Facts.
You take 80 million. You take 80 million from me from what I've been. That's how I get my
This
leg
is
back.
bigger
But
than
anyway,
Nino Brown.
it's bigger than Nino Brown, baby. I'm taking everybody with me. But yeah, you got an ex-athlete coming out providing text messages. You got a whole spreadsheet of signals and calls, and it's just like that's big news. So why are you on ESPN talking about banishment and you haven't even brought that up? Now another report came out yesterday saying that the NCAA investigation so far, it can change, but so far has no evidence linking Jim Harbaugh to Connor Stallions.
Talking about it, say the NCAA findings do not connect the one person scouting and recording the opponent's sidelines to Harbaugh, sources say, an absence and evidence essential to a potential lawsuit from the school coach and against the league. And that's Yahoo Sports.
Got this guy, Connor Stallions, he wrote a 600 manifesto saying he wants to one day take over the Michigan program. What better way for you to do that was to go rogue, try to do your own signal stealing scam, whatever you was doing. We got to bring up CMU too. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm
But
glad to have you back on
yeah,
here, dog. I got you
yeah.
cooking.
So yeah. So I mean, this manifesto. What better way to try to take over a program to go and do your own rogue scheme? And I mean, come on, man. Harbaugh already got this other investigation that he had to self-impose the suspension for. Why would he? Tell me something. Why people need to use their brains? Why would Harbaugh of the Michigan mob, of what I call them, this big organization, the Harvard of the West, why would he tell this man to go buy tickets in his own name, spread them out, and record sideline in his own name? Though you already got some alleged beef with your athletic director, Ward Manuel, so why would he even go that route? It's clear my man went rogue, and I understand he wore the Block M. It's a bad hire. If I make a bad hire with my business and they out here doing some rogue stuff, guess what? It's gonna be looked at me, and I got to take a little slap on the wrist for that. I understand that, but people got to use their brain. The man was doing this on his own. Jim Harbaugh, he's not completely 100% innocent, but I completely understand why Michigan is fighting back as hard as they are.
Let us know y'all thoughts in the comments about this, because I got to edit this fire for everybody. Appreciate you.